The first thing that I wanted to be was a bus driver. There's families where like every single child in that family is a doctor.
I don't think we have a doctor in my family. None that I know of. Welcome to the first ever episode of this podcast. This is called Vibes and Vitals. That is the name for our podcast, and this will include, so the vibe side, it's just us talking about everything in general, life in general, just going into deep conversations about our experiences, the things that we do for fun, and the vital part is going to be the medical stuff.
Yeah, all the medical, sciencey stuff you guys might be interested in.
Exactly. Yeah. So, my first ever episode of Vibes and Vitals is with my lovely friend here. Do you mind introducing yourself? I don't want to do it for you.
Hi, I'm Amal, medical student. Sandra's first guest. So I'm very special to her. Very near and dear to her heart. Can't wait to talk about our experiences in medical school.
Yeah, so you heard her right. We are here to talk about our experiences in medical school. So we're going to tell you the things that other people won't tell you about medical school. And it's not only about medical school. Our target audience is not only medical students. Mm-hmm. It's everyone else. Yeah. So as I said at the beginning, we are going to talk about a bit of everything. It's just going to make it fun so you can enjoy this conversation, okay? So how this is going to be like is that it's not necessarily going to be asking questions and you answering. That's going to be more of like a formal way. Mm-hmm. But I just want it to be like a conversation that's going to flow naturally. Okay. So we can actually start by, maybe I can ask a question and then we can talk about our own experiences from like what I've asked. And then we are going to use some people's posts and threads as well, maybe through like social media. It could be Reddit, it could be Instagram, it could be Twitter or X. It could be anywhere. Yeah. So the first question that I would like us to, or the first conversation I would like us to have is how we got into medicine.
Mm-hmm. When was the first time you thought like, medicine is the career that I want?
I think I thought about that when I was in secondary school.
Really? That's quite...
But you should know that I did my secondary school in Africa.
Okay.
Yes. So when I was in secondary school, I think it wasn't even at the beginning of secondary school. So the way the African system is you go to senior high school. So that's our secondary school. Mm-hmm. Go for 3 years. I think it used to be 4 years and then they brought it down to 3 years. So I did the 3 years. I went for secondary school for 3 years. When I got to second year of my secondary school, that was when I thought, I was like, you know what? I think I have interest in medicine. At that time too, I didn't really like chemistry.
Yeah, same.
It's not like I really hated it. No, it wasn't like my favorite. I liked biology. Mm-hmm. I liked physics. But chemistry was, in the middle somewhere. Yeah. And so when I got to know that medicine was of interest, I decided to put in more effort into the chemistry as well.
Mm-hmm. I remember the first thing that I wanted to be was a bus driver. For 2 years of my life, bus driver. It's a great job, but I would say to my parents, I'm going to be a bus driver. I'm going to drive that red bus.
Oh, I know every child has that thing. I know.
So I think it was in primary school, so year 3, I want to say. Okay. I don't know, because you do those, those topics where you have to I remember we had to do this thing where you have to paint what you want to be.
Yeah.
And then I knew I wanted to be a healthcare professional, but I thought that the female equivalent of a doctor was a nurse.
Oh, some people think that way,
Mm-hmm. I thought that for the longest time. I was like, I want to be, but I think the male version is a doctor. The female version is a nurse. So I was like, I want to be a nurse until I think I want to say year 6 or year 7.
Yeah.
when I actually learned that it was like two completely different career paths. So then I was like, yeah, I think I want to be a doctor. My secondary school was like difficult, just like balancing all of that. But I feel like when we got to sixth form, everything started getting clearer because you've got 2 years. These 2 years you're focusing on your A levels. You can see university, like it's very close, like in 2 years. So yeah, A levels was definitely the time where you like kind of switch on.
Yeah.
But chemistry was difficult. Chemistry was like, I don't know, something about chemistry just never ever made sense to me. I don't know how I survived chemistry.
Chemistry is the start of chemistry is okay. When you're getting deep into it, that's when it gets difficult.
Yeah.
I thought at some point, physics was really difficult, but I don't know why. I developed a love for physics more than chemistry. I know, physics can be some way.
No.
Yeah. At the same time, I also wanted to be an engineer.
Okay.
I had two careers in mind, girl. I had two careers in mind. I was like, okay, if medicine doesn't work, I will go into engineering. Because I just wanted something that was different from what every other girl was doing. Growing up, that was me. I was like, I'm not going to follow the crowd. Every girl is going into nursing. Yeah. Every girl is going into midwifery. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. I want where the men are. I want to stand out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the notion that the difficult ones are the ones that the men do. Yeah. Like engineering and stuff. I was like, no, I'm gonna challenge myself to do that as well. I wanted to stand out.
Especially some engineering fields are just like male dominated. Like
exactly.
You won't find your place.
Exactly. I came across something on Reddit and it was someone asking this question. It said, would you encourage, aka manipulate, your children into choosing medicine?
Every time I hear the word manipulate, I'm just like, okay.
Well, should I keep on reading?
Yeah.
So it said, in my medical school class, probably 60% of the class came from doctor families. Wherever I would ask about why, whenever I would ask about why they chose medicine, most didn't have much of a solid answer aside from seems like a stable job, which is totally fair. I just wonder how many of them actually had a true choice. Maybe on the surface they had a choice, but as we all know, a lot of parents see their children or their kids as extension of themselves, including lots of doctor parents, and in ways that they are subtle and not so subtle, trying to influence their kids to choose certain career paths.
Yeah.
Medicine is often toxic, abnormal, and deeply flawed as a profession. Patients are often toxic, and many doctors are weird, authoritarian, and extra dry. I think encouraging or manipulating your kids to do this job, knowing what it actually entails, is a red flag.
That's interesting as well.
Yeah.
How like some parents that are doctors will be like, my child is definitely going to be a doctor, You have to be a doctor.
Well, they think it's in the genes.
Yeah, on the opposite side, there's some people who are doctors and be like, my child shouldn't pick medicine as a career path.
What about the parents that are not doctors but want their kids to be in medicine? Obviously, they don't know what it entails. So what we are talking about is parents who are doctors actually know what it entails. They know what they've seen and their experiences.
Yeah.
But so right now, with what I've just said, I think I'll just have to say that the parents that are trying to force their children to go into medicine, maybe they had a nice experience. Maybe.
Yeah.
But with the ones that are not going to encourage their children, maybe they didn't have a really good experience. Yeah. Or they are just being open to do whatever that you want to do. At the same time, I am also thinking that the parents that are forcing their children to go into medicine, maybe they were forced by their own parents to do it.
Okay, so it's a generational thing.
I think it's a generational, maybe a generational curse.
Have you seen those families where like every single child in that family is a doctor?
That's boring.
That's so boring. Imagine you need a dentist or
That
like
is boring. We need a teacher, a lawyer, a businessman. I think someone with a different kind of mindset, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we just need a bit of everything in the family to make it as a whole, but not like everyone being like a medical professional.
All you talk about is medicine and science. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll take my parents as an example.
Yeah.
My parents are not doctors. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have a doctor in my family. Not that I know of. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm yet to find out. Yeah. I wouldn't say, well, I didn't have that experience of somebody forcing me to go and do medicine. Mm-hmm. It was my own decision. Mm-hmm. I decided that this is what I want to do. Yeah. My mother is a nurse. We've got nurses in my family. Mm-hmm. I remember my mother putting like the choice out there, asking me, why don't you go into nursing? Because she has gone through it, and then she knows like how it is. She knows that you have career stability. Yeah. She knows that, this is, well, she can offer help because she has been in it.
Yeah.
She was able to convince my sister. My sister is a nurse student. Like she's almost done with her nurse. She's going to be a nurse, a full-time nurse soon. Yeah. I remember my mother trying to convince my brother to also go into nursing. Yeah. So I think that, as I said, if the person has a good experience in that field, the person will try and bring other people with her, with them, I would say. When I wanted to do medicine and I told my parents about it, well, they didn't really say anything bad, or they didn't really try to discourage me, because, as I said, my mother looked at the job stability, looked at like what you can do with whatever you're going into. So they tend to look at like the brighter side, and then they tend to push you to go and do it. I didn't really have like anybody trying to discourage me, apart from one or two people that were not even my family members, but we'll come to that. Yeah. But I know it's something that I also want us to talk about. And then we'll talk about the reasons why other people were trying to discourage us from doing medicine. Yeah. So that was my own experience. So what about you? How did your parents take it? Were you the one who told them you wanted to do medicine, or they told you to go and do it?
No, I was the one who was like, I wanted to be a doctor. I'm the one who brought the idea up first. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the more that we discussed it, I feel like my parents, like there was no wiggle room. Yeah. So I think I told my parents I wanted to be a doctor in secondary school, like year 7 or year 8.
Okay.
So like there was no wiggle room to like change. Like at that age, you change your mind a lot. You'd be like, you look at different stuff. You'd be like, I want to do this, I want to do that. But I feel like they were like, she has the potential. And I love my parents. I don't think I would be here if it wasn't for them and all the support and the help that they gave me. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there was no opportunity to be like, maybe medical school isn't for me. But I feel like by year 10 and year 11, I was like dead set on being a doctor. Like there was nothing else I wanted to do. So I feel like my parents were very supportive in that aspect. There was never like, you have to be a doctor or you have to be this. It's like, you have to come up with something. Like right now, my parents are going through with my brother. They're trying to figure out what he wants to do. Okay. And he doesn't know what he wants to do. And they're like, you have to come up with something because you have to pick options for GCSE and A-levels. Mm-hmm. So my parents were very supportive in that.
It's good he chooses it early, like have something in mind to do and then can start working towards it. Mm-hmm. On that note, when you become a doctor and you start having family, would you encourage your children to do medicine?
I feel like I would encourage them to do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. I feel like you can't, because we haven't started working yet. Yeah. So I can't talk about, the job and all that kind of that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like medical school, I'd tell them to like think very carefully about the commitment that they're making.
That's you giving them a clue.
When you make a commitment, and it's a very long commitment, you've got 5 years and then you've got 2 years of foundation, and then you have to specialize another like 5-6 years sometimes. Mm-hmm. So you have to think about, are you willing to go through all that schooling? Yeah. Are you willing to make that commitment? Mm-hmm. If it's yes, then go for it. Go for it. Go for it. If it's no, I mean, you have to also look at the person. Like some people are some people are very determined in what they want to do.
Yeah.
They're willing to work for it and they're willing to study. And there's some people who would be like, I want to do this, but don't want to put the work and the effort into it.
Exactly.
So you also have to look at the person and be like, okay, you're determined to do this, or you're willing to put in the work and the effort. So yeah, this would be the career for you.
Yeah. To crown it all, for me, as I said, I am not going to encourage, or not asking encourage, I'm not going to force my children to go into medicine. They should do what they want to do. So far as you bring it to me and I feel like it's stable for you to do, yes, then I will give you the push. If I feel like this doesn't make sense, this thing that you want to do doesn't make sense, I would ask you why exactly you want to do it. And if you feel like that is where your interest is, I'll try and make my own research and see the kind of connections you can do after that. And then I can give you a push. Yes, I'm not going to force my kids to do anything that they wouldn't like.
So the question for you is, would you still want to be a doctor after everything you know now?
After everything I know now, as in like my experiences.
That your experiences with medical school,
Yeah.
what you know comes after medical school.
Wow. I wouldn't say no, and I wouldn't really say a strong yes.
Yeah.
Why? Because I think so far where I've gotten to, I've realized like the kind of stuff that, the kind of hardship and the kind of stress that this whole thing comes with. If I have a chance to make this decision again, as in going back,
No, but you know,
I would have thought about it. Like I would really think about it twice if I had the chance. Why am I saying this? I think recently I got to find out that I think when they changed the system, you know, when you're done with medical school and you're being posted to go and do your foundation years, like the foundation program.
Yeah.
Initially, it was. I think it was okay, but now they changed the system. So now they post you anyway. I think initially, initially they based on your grades.
Yeah.
But now it's like a randomized thing that like a computer randomized thing that they do. It doesn't matter your final grades; they just put you anywhere. When I heard about that, it put me off a bit. I was like, why? Like,
But it's only 2 years.
It's only 2 years.
You've done 5 years in Exeter and you came from London. So it's
you know, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm done with school. I spent 5 years away from family. Now I want to be closer to family.
Yeah.
Why are you taking me away from family again for 2 years?
What was I going to say? No, I would say I'm the opposite with you. You know, for the 2 years of the foundation, I'd be like, I don't mind. Because, you know, I've gone from Birmingham to Exeter for 5 years, you know, living in 2 completely different parts of England. So 2 more years in the middle of nowhere again. Like, where's the worst they could put me? In Cornwall. I'm there already.
Scotland.
I honestly don't care, you know. I mean, it would be nice to have like a big city. Yeah, I want to go up north.
Yeah.
Like Manchester and like Liverpool, you know. But like, I honestly wouldn't mind, because I feel like if you've already had that experience in 2 completely different parts of England, what's the word? I mean, it would be bad if you studied in a big city, went to uni in a big city,
and then they're taking you to like a smaller
and
city.
then they put you in the middle of Cornwall with no buses. That would be bad. But I feel like we know how to handle ourselves now.
Yeah.
And it's 2 years. What's the worst that can happen, you know?
Exactly. So I think we have to end this conversation here because it's getting longer. It's getting interesting. You can actually see that if we don't stop now, we'll keep going on and on because there's a lot to talk about. So what I'll do is we are going to continue this conversation in the next episode. So I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much, Amal, my first ever guest on Vibes and Vitals.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
You're welcome. It's been really fun. We've had a lovely conversation. So, as I said, this is a whole new series that I've introduced on my channel. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please do subscribe, so that like you get to know whenever we release a new episode, especially for Vibes and Vitals. and for the other stuff that I do on my channel as well. So we are going to end this one here and catch you on the next. Bye. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Your subscription is really important to me because I've just found out that about 80% of you who view my videos have not subscribed. And if you want us to keep coming your way, especially now that I've started this amazing series called The Vibes and Vitals, if you want us to keep coming your way with new episodes and new faces, please make sure to subscribe, okay? Because this is going to go a long way. It's going to keep motivating us to do more for you. And thank you so much for those who have subscribed already. And I hope you enjoyed this new series.